Sup Team KBA, Untitled Traveler here. Happy New Year 2022. Hope you had a great holidays between Christmas up to now. The year's definitely gone super quick, but I hope you had a good time to recharge and reset and also make this the year of execution. If you've been following my channel, my journey, you would have known I've been in South Korea living in Seoul for the past couple of years. Had an amazing time and still sort of processing a lot of my adventures there. So you'll see some archive videos on my YouTube channel. In terms of the present time, yes, I am here in the UK and managed to get back safely around November time and settling into my own sort of workflow, catching up with my best friend, my family, and just get myself settled, as you can kind of see behind me here. I kind of timed it to see if I can arrive for the less colder type of winter, since Seoul is crazy cold right now. Usually gets a little bit colder than Siberia, Russia, and even, I wouldn't say to the extent of what it is in Canada, but definitely much colder than it has been in the UK. That being said, it's pretty chilly. We are kicking up the new year in full flow because behind me, we've got a few things that I want to sort of share as I'm setting up my new podcast and streaming setup. A lot of good stuff that we are doing for this year. Wanted to give you a good insight into the kind of equipment I've invested into help grow the platform and the channels. My boom arm from Elgato hasn't arrived yet. That was a bit of a backlog as I purchased it over the Christmas time. But we're gonna unbox it, show you what it looks like and how we're finally setting up this temporary station, since I've occupied the top unit of the warehouse where my best friend is sort of doing his production work. All the links down below to the equipment that I've purchased. I do get commission, it helps support my channel and I appreciate it, but it's there for reference. And if you are tuning in to my Untitled Traveler channel for the new year, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. Let's dive right in. So to give you an overview, we have three from Elgato, one being the Wave XLR, the Master Mount, and a small phone grip. We of course have the main highlight of the show, which is the Shure SM7B, which is my microphone of choice for my podcast and live streaming. Let's get the small stuff out of the way so we can dive deeper in the bigger stuff. I picked these two up from Amazon. This is the KONIG and MEYER mic table stand. Really heavy duty, and definitely compared to the newer stand that I had previously, this is going to be stable enough for those much larger microphones, including the Shure SM7B. It doesn't have any mic clip, but it has a thread, so you should be able to screw it on easily to your microphones. You might need some adapters, we'll see. On the top part, there is no screwable pieces, but you should be able to add additional adapters. The base is really thick, so again, this is all iron, there's no plastic. We do have some rubber foots on the bottom. If you want extra protection against those more sensitive or vulnerable surfaces like glass, you might still want to put some sleeve underneath, but it does go around the full perimeter rather than little stickers, so I like that a lot. This probably weighs maybe like 2-3 kilograms, so really heavy duty, probably not something that is easy to travel with in terms of internationally if I wanted to continue using this while out and about in different countries, but heavy duty should get the work done. We also have an XLR cable. There were two choices. One was from No Bulls, and it's just simple, an XLR cable, female to male. I went for 3 meters, which just gives me a bit more flexibility if I don't have it close to my laptop, which is docked to my ultra-wide monitor. This one is from UGREEN, and it comes with these nice cable clips, so it makes it easy when you want to coil, travel with, and it's not all over the place. Should have good longevity, looks pretty durable with the braided nature of the cabling, which is nice. And hopefully that's not going to fray over time, so it should do the job. If we look at the connectors themselves, if I show you here, again, very straightforward. This is an XLR cable, which is an input that you would need for microphones like the SM7B. It was probably 1 year ago they announced a wave of accessories and equipment to have a full podcast or streaming setup through Elgato, so you can kind of create an all-in-one solution, including the microphones, such as the Elgato Wave 1 and 3, suitable for different budgets. While you can kind of get plastic ones, you need something a little bit more durable. Metal, you have one thread on the bottom and then one on the back. Helps to do sort of top-down views and then also facing up, and that can connect to any tripod or adapter mounts that you have here. Stretches a fair bit, so let's just stretch that wide. And yep, does very durable actually. Need to give this a clean, but yeah, this is super solid. So while you can get some plastic constructions, over time I found that they can sort of break, and since I've got good quality tripods, I just wanted a phone grip where it's going to be in any angle and not going to give me any problems. We have some grips on the parts that sort of grip the phone. It has some slight curves, so you can see just like that. And yeah, expands wide enough. Not enough for a tablet. This is intended for a phone, but if they come up with a tablet grip, I think it would be worth the money too. So that is the phone grip. Again, nothing crazy with the box, very functional. It's all about the contents inside. And you can see it says Elgato here. Now when I open the box, ooh, just about fits in the frame. As a streaming setup, you can clamp this to the back end of your table, and you have quite a big gap from how you can clamp it. So it gives you a lot of options, and it can compress all the way down if it's a very thin surface. It has a wide clamp as well, so it gives extra surface area to give that stability when you have mounted it, especially if it's heavier cameras. And this is probably one of the better clamps that I have seen. Got the Elgato logo here. We have the piece that sort of rotates and locks that in. And then something that's interesting, if you don't have that much space to work with, like it's against the wall or you just can't move stuff around, you can actually sort of pull it out. Good if you're in tight surfaces. This is all for the most part all made out of metals, heavy duty as you'd want, especially if you are rocking those mirrorless DSLR camera setups. This is the large of the two sizes, so they have a small and a large, and to be honest, you could probably still get away with a small for the most part, but just having a large gives you extra vertical if you're rocking monitors that are in their vertical setup or just want that higher reach. We also have the second piece that can extend. So this is of a twist nature to lock the mechanism. You don't have to twist it all the way. Twist once to unlock it, and that basically nearly doubles the length. So really high, and just gives the flexibility if I need to mount this onto more of a coffee style table and still get good height. It's mostly metal, but the ball head isn't. So that's just something to bear in mind. And it does have a payload of roughly 2 kilograms, which should be fine for light mirrorless micro four thirds cameras and anything lighter. We'll see how it fares with my bigger Sony a7 III and my 16-35mm Zeiss lens, since that's kind of stretching the overall rig. For all the specs, if you're interested in seeing the heights and total payload, yeah, max load 2 kilograms. The max height is 125 centimeters, so very tall. Minimum is 55. It's normal for the pole to wobble when fully extended, I can imagine, but feels reassuring. You do have either side where you can flip it 180 on this side and the other, so instead of just one position and you have to rotate the ball head, it gives you a little bit more flexibility. And I'd like to say you can remove this ball head if you want to attach your own for something a bit more durable, which in my case I might need to. And then of course in the box we have cable clips, so if you want to clean it up, this looks quite interesting. This will curve around the pole, line it, and then have the cable sort of running through this piece. Put one here and one here for a total of 3 to just keep the cables nice and tidy. Probably been researching quite a bit through the YouTube videos and people sharing their experiences or their setups, and I decided to go this route. Definitely you can go through USB-C connections, very convenient. This Wave XLR is going to give you that preamp again, and also the interface, studio grade preamp, anti-clipping technology, phantom power, zero latency monitoring, multifunctional control dial, and a capacitive mute sensor. But let's just remove these stickers and see what the Wave XLR actually looks like. Again, there are other preamp and XLR connection options This one I found would still be fairly compact, so travel friendly. See what's inside the box first. Got a nice length USB-C cable on one side and then a USB port. So this just requires phantom power, so you can just connect this to your laptop or PC and it will work, which is great. And this is probably rocking 3 meters. Yeah, that's a nice length. And then of course we have all the quick start guide. Here we go. Looks nice actually. Definitely a very clean design, and while you might not be that excited for XLR connections or preamps, this looks good. Bit of a fingerprint magnet, I would say. You can just see the imprints, but it doesn't stay around. It's just, yeah, something to bear in mind. So on the front, this is the main dial of how we can adjust the volume across the 3 modes, whether that's the microphone, the headphones, the sound mix between how we listen to it, and also what's feeding to my laptop. 48 volts, so that's the phantom power, showing that there's power inside it. And on the back, we have that XLR connector, which is where my cable would go in. That's going to, of course, power the microphone. Headphones on the back, so again, you can connect it directly to this. And the USB cable that pops in to charge it up. It's not that weighty. I think it's less than 500 grams. It's angled, makes it easy if you have it faced on your desk like that. It's kind of facing towards me to easily change that. And then we also have the capacitive mute button. So again, there's no button here, and means when you press it, it's not going to sort of cause a vibration, make a sound, or that click. When you want to switch between the modes, we can just press that button and this should give us the LED colors. So again, I'll show you once that's fully set up. But that's the Wave XLR in essence. It really is an interface for me just to connect the Shure SM7B microphone into this and provide enough gain as a preamp, since that microphone requires quite a lot to boost and get that kind of sound we're looking for. Shure SM7B, super excited to unbox this. Definitely a lot of thought process went into deciding why I would choose the SM7B. Getting up real close to this microphone is where it's great, but also since I'm here in a warehouse where it's much more openly spaced, there are sounds going on around me, so this kind of has really good, or at least perceived to have really good noise isolation. It is a dynamic mic rather than a condenser. It does provide a different kind of sound, and I'll do a sound test later on. Definitely an investment, looking forward to using it, and plus I really like that aesthetic. Let's go ahead and slide this cover out. Whew. And here we go. Limited warranty, of course that's the first thing. A Shure sticker, nice. All the little paperwork, and of course the user guide, which is probably worth reading. On one side, we have that close talk windscreen. So we'll see how much of a difference that makes, and probably noticeable enough knowing Shure. So yeah, this is more of the rounded and quite big and wide. A little thread adapter here. We have probably a cable tie, a little piece here. This is the back cover plate, which houses a few on-hardware features. Whew. Probably weighs lighter than that KONIG and MEYER mic stand that I purchased. And here we go. Wow, it looks nice. It's actually not as big as I thought it was going to, at least what it looks like in the videos, which is a good thing, but it definitely has that nice presence. Visually, aesthetics look pretty sick. It looks like we need to get like a TX screwdriver, so yeah, you're gonna need that if you want to add this on. It's connected directly to this sort of bracket, and we have the XLR connector here with the thread. It feels balanced, so that's kind of what you want. Very sturdy on this bracket, which is great. And I like the clean setup of how that wire feeds into the XLR connector, which just gives you a few options whether you want to go for the mic stand route or the boom arm. And I believe we can remove this windscreen. Don't want to damage it. Here we go. It's a little feed that sort of tucks in beneath the hardware, so we can slide that out. And this is what it looks like for the cardioid dynamic mic, the Shure SM7B. But yeah, I'm digging the aesthetics of this, looks cool. We'll stick with this windscreen for now. There we go, just some clicks. Secure in place, if that's going to connect directly. It looks like it does. The setup looks like with the KONIG and MEYER mic stand. I'm really digging this actually. That round base is just heavy duty and definitely feels like it's going to keep the microphone upright securely, and gives space for the XLR connector down here. And from here we can adjust it. And actually there's a lot of good clearance from the table that makes it perfect for me to speak using it like this. The Shure SM7B, the KONIG and MEYER table mic stand, my XLR cable. Also have the Wave XLR just here. Zooming out, you can see how I've kind of laid things out for my podcasting and streaming equipment, together with most of my other things that I already had, like my ultra-wide monitor. I've actually got my Asus G14 on a laptop stand that sort of props it up, and it's a bit more in eye view, which will obviously help when I am doing more streaming or just needing a few different windows open at the same time. I'm borrowing my best mate's ring lights that he has here in the unit studio. That's from NEWEER. So again, I'll put all the links down below to all the equipment that we are looking at today. And of course, the Wave XLR here, which just plugs into the cable and that feeds into my Asus G14. And then of course, the master mounts, which I showed you, that's actually sitting just in front of my ring light. So that's where I'm going to be putting my camera and docking it for my streaming setup. I've actually added these Manfrotto sort of adapters so I can just clip it on and off, especially because I switch between my tripod, this mount, and anything else. You can also mount like your action cam, additional lighting on the master mount as well. So really nice setup. ELGATO also have their pair of key lights and the key light air, which is a bit lighter. This one's pretty heavy duty, so it's better for stationary setups, which is great while I'm sort of here. But traveling, I'll probably need my own ring light setup at some point. So still thinking which one I'm going to pick when it comes to that. I really dig the master mount. Again, it's very sturdy. It's really high. So this is kind of at one of its shortest points and just comes over my monitor. So just for that front view. And then I just have the ring light on its own separate stand just behind. The Wave XLR here is actually really cool. You can see it powered up. You might be able to get some visuals on the blue light. If I press that button, that will also switch to the headphone input, so I can kind of adjust the gain through this, which again makes things a little bit more hands-off rather than having to click my way through or go on my laptop. Really nice there, but of course it's mainly for that preamp to give me up to 75 decibels of gain to make sure I can power up the Shure SM7B. So yeah, of course there's more to it, but I think these are generally the basics of what you need for a live streaming setup. And for me, I'm super excited to finally execute on the podcast and the live stream. Make sure you stay tuned. Again, everything's kind of being set up in this first month of 2022, but really looking forward to creating some awesome content with you all. I got some amazing stuff in the pipeline. And as I mentioned, with the adapters that I have on the master mount and my Manfrotto B3 advanced tripod, this is the adapter that I mentioned, which is what I put on top of the master mount. Seems to hold well on more of the plastic construction build ball head. But again, makes everything really easy to switch between all the different tripods and equipment that I can just click in. This used the existing thread adapter on that, so no problems there. It's still a bit on the shorter side, so I might consider the Shure extender, which is from Shure themselves and gives a little bit more clearance, but also additional height from the mic stand to the Shure SM7B. So I might use that at some point. I'll probably just pile a few books to stack it on and make it more comfortable when I am like streaming. If you like what we're trying to do here on my platforms and would love to support me on this journey and be a part of it, then feel free to check out my Patreon, where you can see several tiers and how you can support me to help deliver all the good stuff we're trying to do here. Stay tuned for more of my awesome videos to come. See you in the next video, but until then, keep being awesome. Peace.